In this video, I will explain how to answer 9 common questions that you will get on an interview for a role of an IT project manager. And stay until the end because I will tell you about one special type of questions that interviewers often ask as well. Hello, I am Dmitry from Project Management Basics and I help people just like you to become a project manager from any role you are currently at. So if you want to become a PM, subscribe to this channel and you won't miss any valuable tips. Alright, first of all, keep in mind that you will get the common interview questions for a project manager, and I do have a separate video on these questions and answers. So after you watch this video, do watch another one as well. I will link it in the description below. In this video, we'll talk only about questions related to IT project management. So starting right now. And the first common question is, what is software development lifecycle? So, to answer this question correctly, you need to name the main phases of an IT project. For example, it might be the initiation, collecting of requirements, creating of designs and wireframes, creating the architecture, then implementing the application, testing it, and deployment it to the production and the markets, and maybe a hypercare. But what's more important, you need to understand what happens in these phases. You need to visualize and see what challenges, what kinds of work happen in those phases. And interviewers will test your knowledge about how to deal with these challenges in all different phases. So that's why some time ago I wrote an in-depth article about the software development lifecycle. I'll leave you the link in the description. Do read it after this video. Alright, the next common question is, what is Agile, Scrum and Kanban? And I hope you see the catch here and you shouldn't mix all these three terms together. Agile is an approach to managing something. It's a set of concepts and principles. Scrum and Kanban are frameworks and you need to know the specifics of how to implement Scrum and Kanban on your project to lead the development of the application. So you need to know the main prerequisites, you need to know how to implement this framework in any environment, you need to know the main challenges that a Scrum Master or a leader in Kanban framework faces on daily basis. There are so many resources about Scrum and Kanban that I won't waste your time here explaining the basics. That's why we'll move on to a more tricky question, which is, what's the main difference between Scrum and Kanban? From my personal experience, the Agile practitioners have different points of views on this question. So an interviewer might want to hear something different. However, here is my top 3 differences. First of all, Scrum is heavy on prescribed roles, while Kanban doesn't specify it at all. Second, Scrum is time-boxed in all its processes, so everything you do in Scrum has a time limit, while Kanban is a continuous flow of work. Third, Kanban has a limit of work-in-progress items, while Scrum limits the scope of work in iterations and increments. In any case, I do suggest you to read more information about Scrum and Kanban, and I'll leave you a link to my favorite resources on this topic. The next common question that follows after the discussions of Scrum and Kanban is how to make them work together with plan-driven project management. In short, what you need to know is that Agile frameworks are applied only on the execution phases of a project. Therefore, in a plan-driven project, only implementation and testing will be done as an Agile framework. The rest will go as a plan-driven project management prescribes. And again, it's a big topic that you need to understand. Therefore, I have another video, a full video that describes Agile project management. Again, I will leave you a link in the description and somewhere here in the corner. Do watch it after this one. Okay, the next one. Do you have any technical skills? And believe me, the interviewers are not actually interested in your technical skills. They don't want to test your skill level. Actually, they want to know how you will manage engineers without technical knowledge and expertise. So you need to show how to solve problems, how to make decisions without technical skills and knowledge that your team has. And here you need to explain how good you are at delegating the work and decision making to your team members. While on the other hand, you work with different aspects of a project like deliverables, scope of work, costs, and durations. Moreover, I do recommend you to point out that you do teach your team members on how to work with project manager and how to provide the information and make the decisions inside the team. It means that you have a ground rule where engineers try to explain complex problems in simple terms, while you have a process for escalating the problems to you to make the decisions. Alright, moving on, and the sixth question is: what are the main challenges in IT projects? Again, in IT there is a big list of these challenges, so different interviewers will want to hear different things. So I will share my perspective on the main challenges in IT projects. The first one is uncertainty. All IT projects have a lot of uncertainty and a lot of sources of this uncertainty. Clients don't understand what they really want. Clients don't understand how we create applications and solutions. Clients don't know the capabilities of the technologies around them. On the other hand, there is always an uncertainty whether we will be able to implement the application within given constraints of time and money. Moreover, it's unclear whether the two pieces of software will work together when we need to integrate them into one solution. Moreover, software development industry is unpredictable. The requirements that we collected today might be inadequate in 6 months from now. Second challenge is the communications problem. Again, customers don't understand how we implement application, what does it take to code the application. So it's challenging to translate the complex problems, issues, and risks related to the development of an application to a customer who has no technical education. The third challenge is that IT projects suffer from inadequate skill levels of team members. You see, nowadays all IT projects are urgent. Clients want to get their solutions as soon as possible, and they cost a lot. So when the project starts, you don't waste time hiring new people. You take all the resources available today. Otherwise, you may lose the client who will go to your competitors because they have the resources on demand. And the fourth challenge is to make all the technologies work together. Believe me or not, it's a wild west in the internet, for example. Even today, it's a challenge to make two web applications work seamlessly together, or one application infrastructure to work seamlessly across different technologies. Next, an interviewer may ask you, what does it take to write code? So for sure they want to test your understanding of the process so that you do not set unrealistic expectations to your developers. Always keep in mind that writing code is a creative process. First you need to analyze the requirements, and then you need to do the research to find any solutions that you can use. Then a developer needs to make quick and dirty trials to see that this solution actually works as described. After that, he needs to check whether it integrates well with what we already have. Only after that, the developer will write the final draft of the code following all the guidelines and recommendations of the programming language. And believe me, it's a tiny part of all the efforts that this developer needs to make. Nowadays, it's a common practice to do the peer review, so another developer will analyze this work. After review, the developer will need to make corrections, and later, when the testing is done, there might be defects that needs to be fixed. So I'll repeat it once again. Writing the actual part of the code that will go into the application takes only a tiny bit of this whole process. Investigation, research and analysis, creative process of thinking how to make it work together takes much more time. So by understanding this process, you will not be shocked by the amount of efforts it takes even to implement a simple application. Okay, the next one is more technical question. What is the process of deployment of the final product to the market? Interviewers ask this kind of questions to ensure that you understand that deployment process is a big part of the project. So to answer this question correctly, you need to explain what does it take to actually comply with all the requirements of the markets like Apple Store and Google Play Market, and what does it take to actually deliver the application there. Likewise, you need to show your understanding of what does it take to deploy the web application into a server and make it work. For sure, you don't need to have in-depth technical knowledge to do it yourself. However, you need to be able to explain what's the process and what are the main steps there. And for sure, they will ask you, how do you motivate people in IT? As you can see, there is a catch in IT industry related to motivation and leadership. First of all, you need to show your understanding that you will be working with highly educated people with critical thinking. Also keep in mind that in most countries IT experts are in high demand. So usually they are not afraid to lose their current job because they can easily find another one. Therefore there is a challenge in motivation because you need to work on the higher levels of hierarchy of motivation as Maslow described it. So in IT you can't easily motivate people just by promising higher salaries and making a beautiful office. They want challenges, responsibilities, and productive working environment. So you need to explain how you will tap into the self-esteem of this person and how you will motivate him or her by delegating responsibilities. And I've got you covered here because I also have a masterclass on how to motivate and lead people. I will leave you a link somewhere here in the corner and in the description below. Watch it after this video. Thanks for watching the video this far. For that, you get a bonus question that interviewers may ask you. These are unconventional questions. These type of questions test your ability to solve problems, collect requirements, and critical thinking. On an interview for an IT project manager role, you may get a question that seems like out of the blue, but you should be ready that this question is important. Somewhere during the interview, I will ask the candidate, do you see this smart TV on the wall? Let's imagine that you are starting a QA project and you need to test the capabilities of this TV to ensure that they work as described in the requirements. And the question is, how will you identify the scope of work for this project? The easiest and the correct answer is to take the manual, because it has already all the sets of requirements described and structured in some form. Based on this manual, you can expand the test suite as far as you need, but that's the core. Okay, if you guess the correct answer to this question, write me a yes in the comments below. But many candidates approach this question without thinking. They go deep into the theory of testing or the philosophy of how to approach this problem. But you need to show your ability to solve problems and get the things done. Okay, there is a huge variety of such questions. You can't have all the answers in your head, but in general you should follow the simple process. First, you need to collect more requirements to have a fuller picture of what needs to be done. And second, you need to find a practical solution, and usually this solution is either on the internet or somewhere around you. Alright, if you like this video and you want to become a project manager, subscribe to this channel right now and hit that bell button. After that, do check all the additional resources that I left you in the description. But before we go, if you have any other interview questions that you want me to help you answering, do write them in the comments below. See you in the next video.